1, 2. Players versus the spectators, kind of a thing.
Yes, yes. I'm so glad you're here.
Oh, I am too.
Oh, good. DJ's here.
People, can you feel it? Love is in the air. People, can you hear it? Love is everywhere. We're in an evolution. Kindness is our guide. Everyone is singing. Love is in our eyes. People, can you feel it? Love is in the air. People, can you feel it? Love is everywhere. People, can you feel it? Love is in the air. People, can you see it? Love is everywhere. People, can you feel it? Love is everywhere. People, can you feel it? Love is everywhere.
Love is everywhere. Thank you, Norman, for that beautiful song. Welcome, everybody. It's a beautiful Sunday, and we are glad that you guys are all here with us today. I know it's a little warm out, but I promise you, you will not be sorry. Today, we have a wonderful guest speaker with us, Reverend Jerry Troyer, who is the president of Anton, the Affiliated New Thought Network, which is the global organization that this church belongs to and supports. And he is going to give us a wonderful message today on forgiveness. So we're going to begin with invocation. Oh, yeah, okay. Repeat after me. I open my heart to the universe,
I open my heart to the universe,
accepting love and peace.
Accepting love and peace.
I open my heart to the universe,
I open my heart to the universe.
accepting love and joy.
Accepting love and joy.
I open my heart to the universe,
I open my heart to the universe.
accepting forgiveness.
Accepting forgiveness.
I open my heart to the universe,
I open my heart to the universe.
accepting love and complete health.
Accepting love and complete health.
And so it is.
So it is.
Okay, now we will do the invocation.
Now the invocation.
Invocation.
So let's take a nice deep, deep breath, breathing in the breath of God. Being anchored in this moment right here, right now. Knowing that we live and move and have our being in God. That is the truth of who we are. That we let go of everything else and stand in the remembrance of the magnificence of who we are. that knowingness that we are individualized expressions of God. Knowing that this service is completely orchestrated by the divine. That we can let go of everything and bask in this beauty, in this love, in this peace, in this service. Knowing that Reverend Jerry is a vessel of the divine. That he steps out of the way and lets the divine flow through. That Reverend Marlene and Reverend Paul open up to that divine expression and stand and express from that space of God. Knowing that Reverend Jerry's message washes over the congregation and uplifts and enlivens and inspires this congregation. Knowing that Norman's music is the music of God. That Spirit plays that guitar and sings straight through Norman. Knowing that the congregation is all an individualized expression of God. That the congregation recognizes their beauty, their divinity, their perfection. Knowing that all is in divine right order, and we bask in that knowingness. And in that knowingness we say, and so it is.
So it is. You are sacred love. Sacred love is all that you are. You are sacred love. God's sacred love is all that you are. Show the way, God, show the way. I want to live in such a state of grace. Lead the way, God, lead the way. I want to live in such a holy place, such a holy place. You are blessed peace, your blessed peace is all that you are. You are blessed peace, God's blessed peace is all that you are. Show the way, God, show the way. I want to live in such a state of grace. Lead the way, God, lead the way. I want to live in such a holy place, such a holy place. You are deepest joy, your deepest joy. That's all that you are. You are deepest joy, God's deepest joy. That's all that you are. Show the way, God, show the way. I want to
Sacred love. We are all sacred love. Yes, we are. And we always need to remember that. Need to remember that. So this morning's reading is from Forgiveness and Other Acts of Love by Stephanie Dowrick. You may not recognize forgiveness, even when you have experienced it. For what we are seeking to know better is subtle, difficult to define, multi-layered, and contains an element of magic. You will, however, feel it in your body. Something, very nearly a thing, has left you. You are no longer carrying the load you were. You have put it down. Anger may have given way to sorrow or regret. Rage may have flattened out into indifference or pity. Into what seemed black and white has crept a little gray.
Yeah. Beautiful, Marlene. Thank you, Reverend Marlene. In your bulletin is the affirmation. We're going to do a call and response. I'm going to read it. You're going to read it back. I recognize the power of forgiveness.
I recognize the power of forgiveness.
As I forgive myself,
As I forgive myself,
it opens me to forgive others.
it opens me to forgive others.
As I forgive others,
As I forgive others,
I gain inner peace.
I gain inner peace.
Forgiveness is my mantra,
Forgiveness is my mantra,
and freedom is the gift.
and freedom is the gift.
All right, so I transposed the song to this one. You think there's no love around? Think the world's upside down. The world's upside down. You think there's no love around? Sing your blues, live your light. You see darkness, despair. You no longer care. You see darkness, despair. You no longer care. Sing your blues, live your light. See the smiles on their face. Feel the warmth, feel the grace. Feel the warmth, feel the grace. See the smiles on their face. Sing your blues, live your light. Look up, be strong. Better times come along. Better times come along. Look up, be strong. Sing your blues, live your light. Sing your blues, live your light.
that.
That was a great.
I appreciate
Thank you for that.
See, the order was perfect.
Perfect. Yep.
So I get the honor and the pleasure of introducing this glorious expression of God. Reverend Jerry Troyer is the board president of Affiliated New Thought Network, of which CCL is a member. Anton is our umbrella. They support us, they help us, we help them. It's a wonderful organization. And serves as staff minister at Ohm Center for Spiritual Living in San Diego, in the San Diego area. Jerry received his ministerial license in 2007 and holds a master's in religious studies and a doctorate of divinity from the Emerson Institute. He works as the director of relationship development for Urban Street Angels, an organization offering housing, employment, and life skills training to the homeless from 18 to 25 years old youths. Jerry is the author of an acclaimed book coming out to ourselves, admitting, accepting, and embracing who we truly are, which will be available back table. So get one. So that's all the bio stuff. Jerry is just a glorious expression of God. I've had the opportunity of spending time with him at the Anton Conference, admiring, loving, just the consciousness is off the hook. He inspires me. I love him dearly. We got to go out to lunch yesterday, which was just fun because it was just us and Jerry. You know, all the other times at the Anton Conference, he's running around and doing stuff, but just an amazing soul. If you have the opportunity this afternoon, he is giving a workshop. It's extraordinary. I did one with him last year, and it was off the hook. So I want to bring up the Reverend Jerry Troyer.
Love you. Thank you, Paul. Good morning, dear ones. How wonderful it is to be with you in this very room. I've met many of you obviously on multiple occasions, and we've met at Unity Village. A few of us met at the Maker's Mark Distillery outside of Louisville, which is a whole separate story that we can talk about after the service. But it is so good to be with you in this place. Norman, amazing. I love that song.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. Appreciate that. Dear ones on Zoom, good morning. Reverend Catherine, a very early good morning to you, and thank you so much for being with us, and all the rest of you on Zoom as well. So my topic for this morning, I got to do a commercial really quick. So I bring you love and greetings from the Affiliated New Thought Network, which is a membership organization of New Thought, Religious Science, Unity, Divine Science, and other centers, churches, and organizations, as well as individuals. We do a conference every year, and again this year it's going to be at Unity Village near Kansas City. Absolutely amazing. If you've not been and you have a bucket list, I encourage you to put it at the top of the list and come and be with us September 26th to the 30th, thank you. I can never remember if it's the 25th to the 29th or the 20th, but it's the last week of September outside of Kansas City. Early bird discount until July 30th. So when you go home later this afternoon in the nice air-conditioned house, this would be a great day to register. www.newthought.org. We're going to have an amazing week together, and I hope you'll choose to be with us. So my topic for this morning is the process of forgiveness. Recognizing that very often forgiveness is a process, not an event. Now, if you're like I am, your ego, your other inner voice is saying, yeah, I already know that. but we're going to talk about things we don't talk about. And that's one of the joys, and and the big part of my ministry is talking about what we don't like to talk about. And so we're going to talk about forgiveness as a process, not an event. And then the workshop that Reverend Paul mentioned this afternoon, we're going to do a deeper dive, and I hope you'll choose to be with me for that. So when I first found this teaching, and this is really frightening, but it's 30 years since my late husband and I found this teaching, and I was so excited, and I expected that the cosmic magic wand would heal everything. Poof. Money would get better, relationship would get better, everything would just be delightful. And it did get better, and you might have heard the term change your thinking, change your life. You might have heard that. And I did, and it got better, and it got better, and it was many of the areas were wonderful. But one thing that didn't change was other people, and other people who do not behave themselves. Have you ever noticed that if you would just do what I want you to, if you would just do what I tell you to, your life, and God knows mine, would be so much easier? Notice that? Have you? Yeah. Now, we all come in with, and go through the day by with our rules. If you were late, if you came in after 10 o'clock this morning, please know that this has nothing to do with you. This is all about me. But I have a thing about being on time. My father taught me, you're going to an appointment, you're going to a church service, whatever, you get there 20 minutes or half an hour early because you just never know about the traffic, and you can sit in the back of the parking lot and listen to the radio back in the day when there were radios, or play with your phone or whatever, but you absolutely must not be late because it's disrespectable, irresponsible, immature, and all of those other things. So, by God, I am on time. My late husband and I worked for a technology market research company in the 80s and 90s and early 2000s, and got a promotion and a job transfer from San Diego to Boston. It was a promotion. It was an amazing experience, and we drove, United Van Lines came one sunny morning in San Diego. The house is full of stuff. I came home in the evening. The only thing in the house was my husband and the phone, because they'd packed up everything and put it on the truck, and away we go. So we drove across country, stopped in Kentucky to visit his family, and then drove up the 95 up to Boston. And soon after we arrived and got settled, my first business trip was to one of my clients, which is a technology company out in Bluebell. So if you're familiar with that area, so you go out the Blue Route, the 476 to Plymouth Meeting, and get off there, and they're out in that area. So this was February of 1994. And what does it do in February? It snows, right? So did the 45-minute or whatever it was plane ride from Boston to Philly, got in the rental car, and I'm headed out the Blue Route to go to this company. Now, in Southern California, we don't have turnpikes. You miss your turn, you go out, go down a mile and a half, get off the off-ramp, make a U-turn back, and there you are. Y'all have turnpikes. Y'all have unforgiving turnpikes. And so, to make a long story even longer, I am on the Blue Route, and I missed the last exit for Plymouth Meeting and wound up on the Pennsylvania Turnpike. 10 miles down the road in, I think it's Downington. Funny that I still remember that. Dear Lord. Got off the turnpike, paid my tolls, got back on and came back, and by now I'm half an hour, 45 minutes late to the meeting. My first time with this client, my first client meeting, I'm convinced we're going to lose the contract, I'm going to be fired, we're going to have to somehow get back to San Diego, I'm going to be selling matches in the snow. You know, when we have a situation, we create the drama, the movie, the cast of characters, all of that. I really needed to go to the hospital because I'm sure that I was getting ready to hyperventilate. So I finally get in, got into the building, called the man that I had the appointment with. He came to the lobby. I said, I am so incredibly sorry. And he said, it's snowing out. Don't worry about it. My rule, not his. Sometimes the opportunity for forgiveness comes because someone has violated one of our rules, which is not one of theirs. I am convinced that the universe has a sense of humor because my husband was Jerry also. He did not have any such rule. So he'd arrive just about on time. We would go to the airport, and we never missed a flight, but I'm getting all worked up and in a froth, and he's like, in a minute, dear. My rule, not his. And I'm convinced that the universe has a sense of humor because in my amazingly wonderful, my husband passed away almost 4 years ago, and I'm in an amazing and wonderful new relationship, and my new beloved has no such rules. I'm like, what is this, sarcasm? So, you said 6 o'clock. Now it's 6:15, it's 6:20. What does this mean? Does this mean you don't care about me? Does this mean you're irresponsible? What does this mean? And I got myself worked up a few times and didn't say anything to him. And then the still small voice, and thank the universe for the still small voice, finally got a word in edgewise and said, you know what this means? It means that he's late. That's all. A dear friend of mine once said, if we don't judge it, we don't have to forgive it. So I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet, but I'm working on it. But very often the need for forgiveness comes from somebody when somebody breaks one of our rules, which is not necessarily one of theirs. There is a Zen proverb that reminds us, before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. After enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. So life continues to be what it is after we found this teaching and in our studies, but what we know is it's the same, but it's different. We don't have, at least for me and I bet for you as well, I don't have the heart-wrenching drama and worries that I did before, and when something happens, I'm much better at knowing how to deal with it and what to tell myself. However, there are still those shoulds and shouldn'ts. I should do that, I shouldn't do that. You, my dear ones, should do that and shouldn't do that. And especially in our family and our close friends, you shouldn't do that because you're making me crazy. Or you should do that. They should behave themselves. They should have wonderful relationships. We want our children to be safe and have wonderful relationships. No health challenges, and especially they shouldn't die. We don't like to talk about what we feel sometimes, and that's why I love Norman's song so very much about the blues. We don't like to talk about that, and instead we cover our feelings sometimes with statements like, it's all good and everything's in divine order, and those kinds of things. And all of that is true, but the fact is our hearts might be breaking. And so how important it is to allow ourselves to feel our feelings, which is a whole nother Sunday talk and a different workshop, but that's one of my things. I was at the International New Thought Alliance conference last week in Chicago. Chicago and had the opportunity to do a workshop to a room full of New Thought people about allowing ourselves to feel our feelings. Wow, it was pretty amazing. It really was. There's that grief. We have to allow that. And in that process, there is the forgiveness. When somebody does something that we didn't want them to, or vice versa. So what can we do when life isn't what we wanted? What can we do when somebody quits their job and moves away? What can we do when there's a change that was not our first choice? We can forgive. I loved that quote that Marlene read from Forgiveness and Other Acts of Love by Stephanie Dowrick. This is my favorite book on the planet. Better than, I'm sorry, it's better than Science of Mind. It's better than anything. Stephanie Dowrick lives in either Australia or New Zealand, and I had the opportunity to meet her in person. Just amazing lady, but this is such a great book. And she talks about forgiveness, but also, again, not the magic wand deal. Not the, you broke my heart, this was really lousy, but I'll wave the magic wand and forgive you. I hope it wasn't something I said. Let me know how that works for you, because so often we try to do that, but the wound may still be bleeding. We may still have the feelings. We may still be grieving, and we're not ready to forgive yet. I'll get there, but not right now. I've changed my mind about forgiveness, and if you read my book, my first book, I want to say that because the second one is about 3/4 done. It's in process, but it was written in 2014, and it talks about my experience with my husband's addiction to crystal meth and the experience that I went through. And I have to say that I'm just now beginning to get to the point of I'm getting ready to forgive that. But sometimes it takes time. And so when I wrote the book, I was more of the magic wand thing that, okay, this happened and it was lousy and I forgive you so we can move on. But we can't always. Sometimes we need to allow ourselves to feel it. A wise person, not me, once said, we have to feel it so we can heal it. Very often the need for forgiveness comes because of the story that we've told ourselves about something. Jerry died in the airport in Houston on the way home from the Anton Conference in 2018, which is a whole separate story. But so went through that, he was cremated in Texas, the remains were shipped home. A couple of months later, we did a memorial service. And it was amazing. It was about 150 people, but there was some number of people that didn't show up. And I'm still grieving and still heartbroken and trying to find my way through. And then I'm looking through the book of the sign-in book and the wonderful people, so grateful for the wonderful people that were there, but some number of people weren't there. And my ego, and you might remember I think it was Wayne Dyer that said ego stands for edging God out. My ego said, well, why weren't they there? What does this mean? Does this mean they don't care? Does it mean they don't love you? Does it mean that something else was more important? And the still small voice said, what it means is that they weren't there. That's all. Because we don't know. We don't know why people do things and don't do things. We don't know why people say things or don't say things. We don't know why they didn't send us a card for our birthday. We don't know why they didn't show up for whatever it was. And so it's always our choice to either make the story, and again, the movie and the drama and all the rest of that, or that's an easy forgive when I don't attach all the judgment and all the assumptions and all the rest of that. So I worked with that and decided that the reason that the people that didn't show up, the reason they didn't show up is because they didn't show up. That's all I need to know. So I'd like to share some ideas quickly on what forgiveness is and what it is not. And again, a shameless advertisement. This afternoon, I'm sure we'll be in another cool place. It's a cool place, isn't it? Yeah, so come and bask in the air conditioning, and we'll talk about forgiveness and the process and maybe learn some new insights and share some ideas. So forgiveness is lovingly releasing the shoulds. Again, what you should do, what you should have done, what I should have done, what I shouldn't have done, we release those. Some wise person, again not me, said forgiveness is when you stop wishing for a better yesterday. Makes sense. Forgiveness is the conscious questioning of, is this mine to forgive? Sometimes we bring stuff with us. Well, they did that to that person, or they did that to my daughter or son, or they did that to somebody that I know, and we carry the resentment for that with us when it's not really ours to forgive. Forgiveness almost always includes ourselves. Because if you did that, chances are I allowed you to do that, and so it's on you, but then it's also on me, and so I need to forgive myself for allowing that to happen, as well as you for doing whatever it was. If you read my book, as I mentioned before, you'll read about my experience with my husband's substance abuse issues and the hell that I went through for about 1.5 years. And what made it even worse, of course, was the resentment toward him and the regret that I had because I allowed this to go on for 1.5 years. For the love of God, why didn't you do something about it? Because I couldn't. Sometimes we're just not equipped to do anything, and so we just go along. So how important it is for us to feel that regret, to feel that shame, to feel that whatever it is, and then allow ourselves to forgive ourselves and move forward. I believe that forgiveness comes in the middle of or after the 5 stages of grief. And you remember Elizabeth Kubler-Ross's writing about anger and denial and all those, the rest of those, and then at the end of it is the acceptance, and included in that has to be forgiveness. Forgiveness is not taking the easy way out. I don't want to feel this, so I'll just forgive it. Not so much. If there's still stuff there, using a purely metaphysical and psychological term, then there's the opportunity to grieve it and then forgive it. Forgiveness is not an act of martyrdom. We think sometimes, well, I'm a wonderful person. I am a religious scientist, so I will forgive this. Again, you got to feel it so you can heal it. And until you do, you're not going to be there. Forgiveness is not condoning or letting someone off the hook. And by the way, and we'll talk about this afternoon, forgiving is not forgetting. You've probably heard that expression, forgive and forget. May I suggest that not only is it very often not possible, also it's not practical, because that experience brought us some wisdom, and how important it is for us to recognize that and know that we have that wisdom and that experience, so later in life, when things start to look similar, we can call on that wisdom that we had from the experience before. Do we allow ourselves to forgive people who die? whenever, make their transition, whatever term you, because we don't use the D word very often, because we're not equipped for this. We North American human beings don't talk about this, except that death is a part of life. It is whether we like it or not. And how important it is to recognize that and be able to talk about it. And to forgive. Whenever I do a memorial service, that's one of the things in my service is forgiving the person. And even if your relationship was wonderful with them the entire time and there was nothing, the fact that they left you could be an opportunity to forgive. I'm not there yet. It's been almost 4 years since he died, and I'm not there yet. I'm making progress, but again, it's a process, not an event. So this afternoon, we're going to do a deeper dive looking at forgiveness, and we're going to do an inventory of the people in our lives and those that we've forgiven, the ones that we're in process with, the ones that we're willing to think about the possibility of beginning to look at forgiving them, and then there's no way. And that's okay. But as we look at it, we can begin the process. Why does it matter? Why does it matter? Well, as we know, life is lived from the inside out. And if the inside includes resentment and regret and anger and bitterness and all of those other wonderful feelings, we're not going to be able to express and experience all the good life has for us, because that's going to block the flow. Also, I don't know about you, but when I have those emotions, strange things happen, because the package of lemon Oreos that was just there last night, where did it go? The pint of Ben & Jerry's. Who ate the pint of Ben & Jerry's? Certainly not me. I was saving that leftover pizza. My thing is food more so than any of the others. But whatever your thing is, sometimes, as you know, our emotions that we've not allowed ourselves to look at yet show up in surprising and wonderful ways. So how do we know when we're done? Mary Morrissey says the way that you know is the person can walk down the streets of your mind and not be attacked. I love that. Don't you love that? Can I think about them and allow them to just keep walking and not want to reach out and smack them? Yep. Then you know you've forgiven them. Someone said, everyone says forgiveness is a wonderful idea until they have something to forgive. And ain't that the truth, right? Yeah, very often. And I'll leave you with this thought, and we'll talk about this afternoon. I did this workshop. Actually, we did classes at my center in San Diego, and one of them was on forgiveness. And one of the people in the class said, "What do I do about forgiving God? Do we need to forgive God? If we do, maybe there's an opportunity to look at what we believe about God. Can God swoop in from somewhere and heal whatever situation is? Or do we really recognize and feel and accept God as this loving, nurturing presence that always responds to us as we believe, and, oh, by the way, always responds to everybody else as they believe?" So it's an interesting question. What do we believe about God? So again, invite you, cool place this afternoon for about an hour and a half. We'll end, we're 12:30 to 2, and then I got to go catch a plane. But we'll think about things we haven't thought about maybe, and talk about things we haven't talked about. And it's always interesting for me and heart-opening for me, and I bet it will be for you as well. So would you join me in the light for just a minute? So as we stay in this consciousness of oneness, recognizing that we are the essence, expression, and experience of Spirit. We give great thanks for the opportunity to be together today, both virtually on Zoom and in person. We give thanks for this beloved spiritual community and the leadership and the joy and the love. We give thanks for the opportunity to be together, to be open at the top, as Ernest Holmes said, and to question what we believe and decide what works for us and what's not. And moving forward, we allow, because that's all we're ever doing, we allow ourselves to look at our relationships and our feelings and our resentments and our regrets, and when we're ready, to lovingly release what no longer serves us, so that we really can express and experience all that good that life has for us. For this beloved community, for our time together, we give great thanks. And together we say, and so it is. Thanks, everybody.
I am the preacher, shouting the blues. I am the juke joint stomper, singing the blues. Holy roller, giving Jesus my cares. I am the candy man, pushing my wares. I am the cowboy, branding my steers. I am the Cherokee brave on the trail of tears. I am the master, whipping my hand. I am the slave from a distant land. After all is said and done, with my maker I am one. After all is said and done, with my maker I am one. I am the Okie on the dusty road. I am the banker in tailor-made clothes. I am the hobo in an old boxcar. I am the railroad baron with a long cigar. I am the brother by the loser's lease. I am the landlord cutting the heat. I am the prisoner playing cards. I am the warden looking out on the yard. After all is said and done, with my maker I am one. After all is said and done, with my maker I am one. I am the doctor saving the sick. I am the junkie craving the fix. I am the homeless on the street so mean. I am the movie star on the silver screen. I am the champion on the finish line. I am the beggar holding the sign. I am the rookie in the Hall of Fame. I am the gangster fixing the game. After all is said and done, with my maker I'm one. After all is said and done, with my maker I am one. After all is said and done, with my maker I am one. After all is said and done, with my maker I am one.
So Melissa Romero is going to do our offertory blessing. She's going to first do it in Spanish, and then if you'll read with her the offertory blessing.
Okay. Gracias Dios por la abundancia que es mía para compartir. Bendigo este regalo y te lo doy con gratitud y alegría, sabiendo que cuando doy, también recibo. All right, now in English. You guys can repeat this one. Thank you, God, for this abundance that is mine to share. I bless this gift and give it to thee in gratitude and joy, knowing that as I give, I do receive.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
Knowing that as we give, we do receive, that it is a flow. Giving thanks for these gifts and tithes from this glorious congregation. Knowing that this congregation is abundant. That good things and money and finances flow to this congregation easily and effortlessly. And then from this congregation to CCL. It is an abundant process. It is a flow. And knowing that we are all in that flow. Giving thanks for the love that is here. Giving thanks for the support that is here. Giving thanks for this gathering together and these beautiful tithes that support this wonderful institution we call the Center for Conscious Living. In gratitude and joy we say, and so it is.
So, if you are here for the first time, would you please stand? If anybody here is having a birthday, would you please stand?
Friday.
Again.
Friday.
I think Jerry's it today.
I'm in.
So if you will all hold your hands up, please, in blessing and repeat after me. Welcome to the Center for Conscious Living.
Welcome to the Center for Conscious Living.
We are a heart-centered spiritual community.
We are a heart-centered spiritual community.
And we open ourselves to you in love.
We open ourselves to you in love.
We recognize the perfection of God within you.
We recognize the perfection of God within you.
We celebrate the joyous being that you are.
We celebrate the joyous being that you are.
You are a radiant point of light.
You are a radiant point of light.
And we are blessed by your presence.
We are blessed by your presence.
Welcome home.
Welcome home.
So, now is the time where we do all the fun stuff, all our announcements. So, we would like to take this moment to invite Marty Levin to come up, please.
Marty's loving this.
So, Marty's been a member of the CCL community for a number of years, and he is quite the activist, likes to get involved, likes to get his hands dirty. And if any of you, or hopefully all of you, have read the newsletter on Tuesday, he has contributed quite a lot of things for us. Not least of is his environmental activism. He and his partner June are really all about and into wholeheartedly making sure that this planet stays the way that we love it to be, and that we make sure that we pass it along to the next generation in a better condition than it is now. And one of those projects happens to be bringing the plastic to work, bringing your plastic to church. So Marty brings this beautiful little container, and every week for the last several weeks, we've been bringing plastic. I know I've been collecting a ton, so that bench better have my name on it.
I would like to make an announcement.
Sure.
Shall I do it now?
Yeah, go right ahead.
So this is a 6-month project that was started in April. So April, May, June, July. So we're 4 months into the 6-month project. And just to give you a quick update, we're only about halfway there. So what that means to me, doing my arithmetic, is we need to really up our game for the next 2 months in order to complete our goal of 500 pounds of plastic by the end of September. So I'm really counting on all of you, those who are here today and those who are on Zoom. If you need me to come pick up plastic, I'll be glad to do it. If you have an idea, if you work someplace, or if you visit a place and you know that they generate some of this, it has to be the kind of thin film plastic, like the old plastic bags we used to get in the supermarket, or plastic that you get if you use a dry cleaner, for example, or if you eat bread and you have bags of that the bread came in. All those kinds of things are the kind of plastic that they're using to make these benches. And so I'm really counting on all of you to help me out. If you know of other companies that can help us, please let me know about that, okay? Because we do want to reach our goal of 500 pounds by the end of September, so thank you.
Ask your neighbors.
Yeah, great idea.
Yeah. So let's see, some of the other things that Marty has brought to our community is several movie nights, dealing with a lot of our environmental issues, and reducing waste for our planet. He and June are part of the South Jersey Green Faith Circle, which we've talked about before. It's a faith-based organization that is leading the communities to be better stewards of the planet. Marty was one of the first trained facilitators for the Pachamama Alliance, and has offered several workshops here through the Pachamama Alliance. Fundraising ideas stream through Marty, and we are just so blessed to have him as part of our community, and I'm not sure what we would do without you.
Yeah. One of my favorites is Marty called me beginning of the year, and they always do the Season for Nonviolence. And he called me up and he said, hey, can we do the Season for Nonviolence? And I said, Marty, I would love it as long as I don't have to do a thing. And he said, no problem. We will get it together. We will enroll people. And they took it on, and it's beautiful. It's so much a part of our service at the beginning, at that time of year. So I just want to thank you for your love for this community, for your willingness to do whatever and everything. And all of the stuff that you do for the environment comes from love. And that's the cool thing. So thank you so much for all you do.
Thank you.
Love you.
Thank you all.
I did it again.
That's okay, Lord, need a water now.
Okay, so like Reverend Jerry had mentioned, there is a workshop this afternoon. It's being held at Soul Sanctuary, and it begins at 12:30. It's from 12:30 to 2, and I think it's going to be a marvelous workshop. Please don't miss it. I will be taking registration until we're done cleaning up here this afternoon. So if you want to go, come see me. If you're interested in Jerry's book, Jerry will be mingling around after service. You can talk to him about his book, and he'd be happy to talk to you about it, take your money, give you a beautiful book, sign it for you. And
Zoom also.
Zoom, yes, Zoom. We will be Zooming the workshop as well. So if you're interested to do the workshop via Zoom, send the office an email so I can pick it up while I'm still here to do the registration. Reverend Catherine has so wonderfully offered to do one-on-one sessions, and she continues to present that offer to everybody in the congregation that is interested in doing a one-on-one session with her. If that calls to you, please contact me in the office, and I will make sure that we get a perfect time for you and her to speak together. Our prayer ministry is changing a little bit, and we are really excited about the way that it's changing. So now there are 3 ways that you can get prayer. From Tuesday through Friday at noon, Reverend Catherine is holding prayer sessions by Zoom. It's a collective prayer session where people are coming and talking about the things that they need prayer for, and Reverend Catherine is beautifully taking all those prayers in and praying for each one of those particular prayers. So if you have not tried that, I encourage you to do so. It is, it's remarkable.
12 o'clock.
12 o'clock, yep. And from Tuesday to Thursday, those prayers are specific for our congregation. On Fridays, we're now opening that up to people outside of CCL. So if you have friends that are not members, do not attend, but would like some prayer work, invite them to join on Fridays for the prayer session. The practitioners are now doing live Zoom prayers for the congregation. So when you do your prayer requests at the back of the room, or if you are sending your prayer requests in to the office, either by email or by phone call, or texting the church office for your prayers, we are gathering the prayers and we are praying over them twice a week now. So I encourage you all, if you've got something that's on your heart and you need a little prayer, you need a little assistance, please send your prayers in, okay?
And those are confidential. All those prayers are just the practitioners. We get together as the practitioner core, go on Zoom, and we do the prayers just as the practitioners, so you don't have to worry about the confidentiality of it. So anything that you put here for a prayer comes to us, and it's just the practitioners doing those prayers. We do them on Monday nights and Thursday morning.
And if your prayer is an urgent prayer and needs attention immediately, please contact the office, and then we will have a practitioner call you back to pray with you about that particular issue immediately.
Within
Yep.
24 hours.
Within 24 hours. Yes, Linda?
Sorry to interrupt, but I wouldn't feel right not mentioning one other thing I know about our amazing Marty is I'm pretty sure he told me that he had a lot to do with finding Reverend Catherine in the first place through his
Yes.
connectedness and openness, and I, for one, am unbelievably grateful for that. And I'm sure I'll be.
Yes, thank you, yes. Yes, our Reverend Catherine comes to us on the recommendation from Marty, so we are grateful for that. Newsletters, hoping that y'all read it. So what we've been doing most recently within the last 6 months is that we've been, the church office has been sending out 2 newsletters a week. The first newsletter would come out around Tuesday or Wednesday and had all the wonderful juicy stuff that's going on. Thursday's newsletter would be the minister's message. We're changing that up a little bit, and so The Tuesday newsletter will continue to be the newsletter to go to for the information that's going on here at church, in the community, the picnics, which Marty so lovingly has arranged for us, but I'll talk about that in a minute. There's the information about the prayers on Tuesday through Fridays there. Anything that's coming up, our recognitions, classes, all that kind of stuff is going to be in the Tuesday newsletter. The newsletter that comes at the end of the week, if you've checked your email, you should have one, is a newsletter that is coming strictly from Reverend Catherine, and it is a standalone email that is written for you, is inspired by you, and will be entitled Living as Love with Catherine McClellan. And that's where the spiritual food will reside. So I encourage you to look for that in the second half of the week. Beautiful message. If you've checked your email, she sent it yesterday. It came out. So I'm really happy for that change. I think it's a wonderful addition to our ministry, to our community. Healing Hearts is another way where we can help you as being part of our community. If you are in need of a phone call, a keep in touch, you have something you need assistance with, there are forms in the back that you can fill out. And if not, you can contact the office, and we will make sure that the head of the Healing Hearts Committee, which happens to be our wonderful Mike Severese, will make sure that it goes out to the team so that we can assist you as best as we can. Miss Regina is going to come and talk to us a little bit about her collection for the local animal shelters and our solar project.
Good morning. So good to see everyone this morning. I think we're the ones that were not afraid of coming out in the heat, but blessed to those who were and stayed home in the cool air. It's not bad here. So thank you and good morning again. I have two announcements. The first one is just a couple more comments about the solar panel fundraiser. I know all of us have been in a position where we needed something or we wanted something done, but we didn't know anybody who could do it. So there was a certain amount of fear in the back that said, how can you trust anybody by just looking up on the internet? You know, there was always that fear in the back of either being taken or getting somebody who really doesn't know what they're doing, they just talked a good game. I have to tell you, I did not suffer with that, thank God, with Keith Gunther. Him being a member here for the long time and I've known him, that comfort level that I had with someone you can trust was always present. That's the first thing. The second thing is that if it pops into your head and you want to explore it, please contact him. There is no high pressure sales pitch. He's a consultant. He will tell you if it's going to work for you or if it's not going to work for you. There's no pressure to buy if you'd want to, and there's no, especially if you can't afford it or whatever. But like I said, if it's something that keeps popping in your head and you want to know a little bit more about it, please contact him and explore with him. Even if you just want information about solar panels and you know it's not the time yet, he's perfect for it. So please follow up with that if you are so called. The second thing is we are bringing back the collection for the animal shelter. This animal shelter is the Burlington County Animal Shelter. There are papers in the back on the table with what they're calling their wish list. So this collection will be the second in-person Sunday that we have, which is normally the fourth Sunday of the month. So we have a couple of squirrely months, but normally it's the fourth. So again, this list is on the table in the back, and I'm going to work with Reverend Marlene to get it on the website so you can refer to it. In addition to that, on the back table, there is also sort of like a donation box for cash that if you want to drop in a couple bucks, change or whatever, that is specifically for the Cedar Run Wildlife Refuge. So Cedar Run, it is exactly what it says. It's for wildlife. It wasn't They go out and save whatever people are constantly bringing in. It was only last month that my daughter and her 3 daughters took a bird that broke its leg from their tree out to the wildlife center for them to take care of. And they saved that bird's life, you know? But it was very cool for these little girls, 7, 4, well, the 1-year-old. She watched them tangle it from the nest. But it was just very cool. So for them, I mean, you could go on their website. They have pages and pages of a wish list, very specific for the wildlife. So I thought this was just easier, having the donation box, just to give them cash for whatever they needed. So if anyone has any questions or want to say anything, or if you want to talk to me about the solar panels, please, please, please. So thank you so much and have a great day.
Thank you, Regina. Mike, come on up.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, Mike.
Healing Hearts has been talked about, and I thought it might be good to clarify how it works. Over the years, we have about 45 to 50 people within our community who have shared an intention to help. So what happens is, if you need something done, moving, fixing something, whatever it happens to be, call Marlene or email Marlene. She'll send it to me, and then a sanitized email will go out to everybody, saying that we have a member in the community who's in Morristown who needs a lift to whatever on such and such a date at such and such a time. If this speaks to you, please contact me and I'll give you more information. So then a person can contact me. That's when we'll disclose who's it for, where they're going, the time, and that's how it works. It's not like your information goes to a whole bunch of people. So I just thought you might want to know about that. If there's something that you want, let Marlene know, and we'll take care of it, hopefully.
Thank you,
Thank
Mike. Just a couple of more quick things. For everybody that's here, on the back of the bulletin is the upcoming schedule of things that go on. For our folks who are on Zoom and on YouTube, next week, we have an extra week. We'll be in person, so we will be back here next week. First Sunday of August is Meditation Sunday by Zoom. The following Sunday after that, the 14th, is in-person service with Reverend Paul and myself. 15th is the men's group. The 21st, we will have a Zoom service with Reverend Catherine. She will be here in person from August 19th to the 30th. So we can't wait for her to come back. The 21st of the month, we will have a Zoom service, but right afterwards, we will be gathering at Smithville Park. Thank you, Marty, for arranging this year's annual picnic. So it's potluck. Bring a pot, and hopefully we'll be lucky that there's something in the pot, and come and hang out and, just hang out and have a good time with all of us, with your friends, with this beautiful community. We love to share time together, so let's do that. On the 28th of August, we will have in-person service. Reverend Catherine will be here. And again, first Sunday of September, we will have Meditation Sunday on Zoom. Please find a place to be in service in our community. There's always something that needs to be done, and we welcome you to assist. There is, for us, a lot of things go into the technology in order to present our service electronically on Zoom and on YouTube, and we could use some assistance for pastoral support, which entails doing all the things that happen behind the scenes in the chat box. So if that calls to you, please let me know. It's not difficult. We can show you how to do it. All the teams that are here that put our service together can always use some help. The refreshment team, you can talk to Ellen. The ushers, you can talk to Reverend Paul. The setup committee, setup and takedown, you can talk to Regina. And then we have the altar committee. I will get you in touch with Kay Becknell, who heads up that team. And we talked about bring your plastic to church, and I think that's everything for today. Come to the workshop this afternoon.
All right. Are we doing the circle? What are we?
No, we're doing.
Okay, we're just
Doing
gonna
you, Norman.
go right
We're
into
doing
this-
you. We're
the
doing
song.
you.
Okay.
Go for it.
All right. So we're gonna do We Let It Be. So just remember love, joy, peace, love. Everybody got that?
Peace, love.
Love, joy, peace, love. That means you sing along. We let the love wash over us. We let it be. We let the joy wash over us. We let it be. We let the peace watch over us. We let it be. One last time, the love. We let the love wash over us. We let it be. We let it be.
So if you take a nice deep breath, breathing in this service, feeling the love that is here, feeling the joy that is here, feeling the peace that is right here, right now, giving thanks for this opportunity to get together, to remember the magnificence of this life, of this planet, of each other. Giving thanks for this oneness. Giving thanks for this love that is palpable. Giving thanks for this opportunity to download this knowingness of forgiveness, this process of forgiveness. Giving thanks for this beautiful talk that washes over us. Giving thanks for this workshop this afternoon that we know is profound and opening and freedom. Giving thanks for this beautiful community that we call CCL. Giving thanks for Reverend Catherine stepping up and becoming our senior minister and guiding this beautiful, beautiful community. Giving thanks for all of the peace and joy that we gain from this gathering that leads us and inspires us through this week, knowing that we stand in that space of the divine, that we let everything else go and know that we are one with that spirit, with that peace, with that love. And we bask in it and revel in it. Giving thanks for this wonderful life that we live. And in this living, we say, and so it is.
So it is. All right, everybody. Something wonderful is happening to me right now.
Something wonderful is happening to me right now.
It is this thing called life.
It is this thing called life.
Life is in my body.
Life is in my body.
Life is in my mind.
Life is in my mind.
Life is in my feelings.
Life is in my feelings.
Life is in all my activities.
Life is in all my activities.
I receive it.
I receive it.
I share it.
I share it.
I am it.
I am it.
And I accept it.
And I accept it.
Just the way that it is.
Just the way that it is.
Thank you, life.
Thank you, life.
And accepting all these gifts, we say,
Yes!
and let's just give Reverend Jerry a big hand for being here today and blessing us with his presence. Thank you, Reverend Jerry, for being here.
My pleasure. Thank you.
All right, everybody, have a wonderful day. Sign up for the workshop.